Hello and welcome to another video. In this one we're going to be talking about star imports, which hopefully I can convince you that you should probably not use them, but I'll show you how they work and some of the caveats for why they're discouraged. But I mean, they're fine to use in like an interactive sense, but if you're using them in code, you probably have a problem. But anyway, let's jump into that and explain how they work. Why is this button not working? There we go. Okay, so to get started with star imports, I'm just going to make a small module and then show you kind of how the import stuff works there. So we're just going to open up a t.py file here. I'm going to define a couple of things in this module, just like a couple of classes, a couple of constants, and some functions or whatever, and we'll go from there. I actually really only need to do this to demo how things work. But we'll make some functions as well, just to kind of fill this module out a little bit, and maybe a class. But we'll make some objects in here, and we'll also make some private functions. A private func. Again, like this is only private by convention. The underscore doesn't really mean anything. Although we're about to show the one thing in Python where the underscore. Well, I guess not the one thing, because there's also name mangling, but one of the few things in Python where underscores actually do something. We'll do the same thing for a class as well. A private class. Okay, cool. So we have this module here. Oh, we'll also do another thing. We will import some other modules here as well. Import sys. maybe this function does return os.path.join. Hello world. And maybe this function here does return sys.executable. I don't know, something like that. Just to give you kind of an example here, just to show that this passes current linting, or like linting with Flake 8. We're cool there, so these imports are used, and all that works great. So let's open up an interpreter. I'm going to issue a star import and describe to you what happens in here. So first I'm going to show you what's available in the module by default. You'll see something that's probably slightly different. I have a special startup script that sets up tab completion in my Python 3 terminal. So you guys probably won't see these two methods, but the rest of these are stuff that you'll always see as part of dir. Dir is a way to look at all of the variables that are available at that point. So let's do the star import from t import star. And this will take all of the names in T and make them available, but it will skip those that start with underscores. So if we look at dir now, you'll see that we got, a class, we got a const, we got a func here. We also got the OS module, which is one of the reasons that star imports are probably not the best. We also got the sys module. So the imports were also re-exported as part of the star import here. And you'll notice here that it skipped this underscore prefixed constant and private function and private class. And this is kind of the default behavior of star imports. Now you can of course change this behavior, and the way that is usually suggested to change this behavior is by setting this special double under all module constant, and this tells the runtime, or the star import runtime, to only export those names when issuing a star import, and that's really all double under all does. I don't use star imports, so I really only use double under all as more of a documentation sort of thing, saying like this is the interface that this module intends to support. But this double under all is a sequence of strings. I usually prefer to use a tuple. You can also use a list. And if we list the things that we want to export, so let's say we actually wanted to export this underscored name, we could do that here. One thing that I've seen is like a common gotcha here is you can actually just put the class in here, and it doesn't work, and it doesn't issue any errors. From t import star. Oh, actually it does issue an error now. Maybe it didn't used to? Python 2 from t import star. Huh. Okay. That's new. Alright, well, I'm wrong. And I guess I'm glad I'm wrong. But it doesn't issue an error normally importing the module. So if we were to, have this erroneous case, oops, and we did Python 3, import t, doesn't error at all, because nothing actually checks this. But it really should. But these need to be names, and so that gives you the first problem here in that if you have a string here and say you come along and rename your class, you potentially have a mismatch in double under all versus the actual names here, and so that's something to look out for. There are some linters that can help you with this. I believe PyFlakes actually checks this. Actually, let's verify that. Let's see, tilde opt vm bin pyflakes t.py. Cool, yeah, so PyFlakes does actually check this, so you can at least get a little bit protected from that. What I usually like to do is access the double under name attribute of the class itself. That way I don't have to write a string literal that may, you know, lose its touch later on. But anyway, now that we've set this double under all, and we open Python 3 again, if we do from t, well, first let's dir at the beginning. Actually, we can just say before equals set of dir, and then from t import star, and then after equals set of dir, and we can do after minus before to show you the names that got introduced. Of course, I actually introduced the before name as part of this, so that's actually kind of funny. But you can see that this underscored name was able to be re-exported, and we didn't re-export these module names here. So now let's talk about why star imports are problematic in code. The first reason, well, I guess the only reason is that, or the only reason for me, but there are other reasons beyond static analysis, is that it makes it really hard for tools to figure out whether a name is used or not without actually importing that code. So you can imagine a case that's something like this. You know, we have a t2.py, and maybe we did from t import star, and we had, you know, a main function that did like print a class, and maybe we also had print a class, but somebody typoed it. And a static analysis tool that only has access to this particular source file would not be able to know which one of these things is correct and which one of these would succeed. However, if we, you know, expand out this this star import and we instead did from t import a class, now, you know, it's clear to the linter that this is a typo and it doesn't match this thing up here. And so, you know, generally you should avoid star imports. That said, they're sometimes pretty convenient in like interactive sessions where you don't really care about having linter correct code. You're just like, you know, import star, let's just make this work and see what happens. Another case, I mean, even without without factoring in linters here, it's hard for a human to know which things come from this. And if you're refactoring this code or rearranging stuff, it can be difficult to handle there. The one case where I think star imports are kind of okay, although I'll make another video about this later, about init.py. I actually think init.py is kind of a, actually we'll not call it t. Make dir package. The one case where I see init or star imports being kind of okay is inside of init.py files. Where you want to re-export names from some subpackage, and you would ignore that with whatever the error code is here. I actually forget what the error code is. Blink8, this guy, F403, no QA, F401, F403. And so this would say, like, if you had package/subpackage.py, and this maybe had functions in it or whatever, this would allow Python 3 from package import star. This would allow you to get access to the functions of a subpackage exposed as part of init.py. So this is more like if you're trying to be very careful about the names that you expose from a particular package. But that's kind of like the only place where I see it as kind of acceptable, but even there I don't use it. One other thing, actually no, I think that's it. Cool. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have additional questions, feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to me on the various platforms. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.